What if I told you your morning coffee once made you a rebel? Not a dramatic movie trailer rebel. More like the kind of rebel who could get in trouble just for sitting in a chair, holding a tiny cup, and thinking too hard. Because long before coffee became the official fuel of mornings, deadlines, and I swear I'm awake conversations, it was something people were actually afraid of. Let's rewind a few centuries. Picture a narrow street lit by flickering lanterns. The air smells like baked bread, smoke from fireplaces, and something new, something warm, something bitter. You follow the scent to a small wooden door that doesn't look very important at all. Inside, the room is packed. People are leaning in close, laughing, whispering, arguing, and passing around little cups of dark liquid like they're sharing a secret. This wasn't just a cafe. This was a coffee house. And to some leaders, it looked a lot like trouble. In the early days, coffee spread through parts of the Middle East and then into Europe, and people didn't drink it quietly at home. They gathered. They stayed for hours. They talked about everything: politics, religion, money, the weather, their neighbors, the rulers, the rules. And here's the part that made powerful people nervous. When people sit together long enough with warm drinks in their hands and nothing rushing them out the door, they start doing something dangerous. They start thinking. And sometimes they start agreeing with each other. To a king or a government, that can feel less like a friendly chat and more like the beginning of a plan. So in the 1500s, in parts of the Ottoman Empire, coffee houses were shut down. Drinking coffee in public could get you punished. There are stories about officials wandering the streets, not looking for criminals with swords or stolen goods, but literally sniffing the air, trying to catch the smell of freshly brewed coffee. Imagine that. You're not hiding treasure. You're hiding a cup. It's like if today someone told you your local cafe was illegal, and you had to drink your latte behind a curtain, whispering, "Don't let anyone hear the milk frother." But the fear didn't stop there. When coffee reached Europe, it brought the same nervous energy with it. Some religious leaders didn't trust it at all. They called it strange, foreign, even evil. It came from lands they didn't understand, and it made people alert instead of calm. There's a famous story that coffee was brought to the Pope, and people asked him to ban it as the devil's drink. So he took a sip, thought about it, and basically decided that something this good couldn't possibly belong to the devil. And just like that, coffee survived. But even then, rulers kept a close eye on coffee houses. In places like England, they were sometimes called penny universities, because for the price of a cup, you could sit all day and listen to smart people talk. Writers, merchants, sailors, and thinkers all mixed together in one noisy room. And if you were in charge, that probably sounded less like a cozy hangout and more like a brainstorming session you weren't invited to. So governments tried to control them, shut them down, tax them, regulate them. Anything to keep an eye on what people were saying over their cups. Of course, it didn't really work. Because once people fall in love with something that makes them feel awake, connected, and just a little bit smarter, they don't give it up easily. So coffee kept spreading. From secretive rooms and band gatherings to fancy cafes, kitchen counters, and eventually drive-through windows where someone hands you a cup without even asking your name. And now here we are, half asleep, staring into a mug, waiting for that first sip to turn us back into a functional human being. But the next time you drink your coffee, just remember this. You're not just holding a beverage. You're holding something that once worried kings, annoyed priests, and made governments nervous. All because it gave regular people a place to sit, talk, and think out loud together. If you're comfortable, feel free to say hello and where you're watching from. And if you enjoy strange little stories like this, stick around. There's always something ordinary with a very weird past waiting to be uncovered.